Beneath the Kaaba's shadow, a vanished well-guarded 2 golden deer and a secret that would change Mecca forever. Across the barren sands of ancient Arabia, stories travel like wind. Some fade with the dunes, others endure. Among the most enduring is the story of ZamZam. Not a legend of fancy, but a record preserved in the dependable pages of early biographies and chronicles. It is a story of a well created by the mercy of Allah in the age of Ismail. A well that quenched a striving mother and her child. A well that later vanished beneath stone and sand, taking with it treasures placed in secrecy. Then, centuries on, its mouth opened again at the hands of a man whose name still stands in the history of Mecca, Abdul Muttalib. In the generations after Ismail, the Jurhum tribe held sway in Mecca. Time and power often test the human heart. As the years passed, their conduct toward the sanctuary declined. Their oppression of pilgrims grew heavy. Their irreverence scarred the dignity of the house. Rival tribes gathered, most notably the Khuzar, to challenge the Jurhum. On the threshold of defeat, the final Jurhum leader, Amr bin Harith, chose secrecy over surrender. Inside the Kaaba lay gifts from kings, among them 2 deer fashioned of pure gold. Alongside them, swords and armor, symbols of honor and defense. Under the cover of night, away from prying eyes, he carried these valuables to the well of ZamZam. Into its depths he cast the golden deer and the ancient blades. Then he sealed the well. Earth and rock and sand concealed its place until no trace remained. With Mecca lost, Jurhum left toward Yemen, and silence fell where water once rose. Year folded into year, decades into centuries. The name of ZamZam lingered like the glow of embers, yet none could find its flame. People drew water from distant sources. The Khuzar ruled, then the Quraysh. Still, the well slept. 500 years passed before a leader rose in Mecca whose character matched the gravity of destiny. Abdul Muttalib, grandfather of the one who would bring mercy to the worlds, held honor among his people. He was generous, he was steadfast, and one night, near the Kaaba, in the embrace of stillness, his life changed. He slept in the area called Hatim, or Hijr, close to the sacred enclosure. From the realm of sleep came a call. "Dig Tayyiba." He asked, "What is Tayyiba?" The voice faded. The next night, the call returned. "Dig Bara." "What is Bara?" Silence. A third night. "Dig Madnuna." Again, the answer slipped away with the dream. On the fourth night, the voice came in clarity. "Dig ZamZam." Abdul Muttalib asked, "What is ZamZam?" The reply was certain. "A well whose water will never vanish and never diminish. Through it, you will give drink to multitudes who come as guests of God." The dream then gave signs, precise and verifiable. Where blood and dung are found together, where an anthill rises, where a crow pecks at the earth, there you will find what is hidden. With dawn, he rose ready to act. He searched around the Kaaba and came upon a place between 2 idols known in that age as Isaf and Naila. There, the ground bore the marks of animal sacrifice, blood and refuse together. An anthill stood nearby. A crow descended and tapped the soil with its beak, every sign aligned. He knew what he must do. He took a shovel in his hands. At his side was his only son, Harith. In a society where numbers of sons signaled strength, he had one, yet resolve outweighed numbers. Father and son began to dig. The leaders of the Quraysh objected sharply. They rebuked him for disturbing ground near their idols. They tried to stop him. Abdul Muttalib answered with a quiet firmness, "I have been commanded to dig here." He asked Harith to hold the angry men at bay while he continued. Sun beat down, sweat soaked the earth. He did not stop. Then the shovel struck something hard. A bright ring of metal rose from the pit. His call of God is greatest lifted into the air. The crowd paused. Soil gave way to forms long buried. One by one, the two golden deer emerged. Then, the swords and the armor. Beneath them lay the mouth of ZamZam itself, a well patient through centuries, ready to flow again. The sight of treasure stirred old desires. The same men who had tried to halt the digging now demanded a share. They claimed that this was the well of their forefather Ismail, and that the wealth of the Kaaba belonged to all. The dispute rose to a dangerous heat. Swords were touched, voices sharpened, bloodshed seemed near. Elders stepped in to cool the air and counsel restraint. Abdul Muttalib proposed a method accepted by their society. They would cast lots with marked arrows inside the Kaaba. 2 arrows for the Kaaba, 2 for the Quraysh, 2 for himself. Whatever the lots decreed would stand. They consented. When the arrows were drawn, the judgment surprised them all. The 2 golden deer fell to the share of the Kaaba. The swords and armor fell to Abdul Muttalib. The Quraysh received nothing. A decisive settlement without blade or cry. Abdul Muttalib did not hoard what came into his hands. He melted the weapons and fashioned a strong door for the house. From the gold of the deer that had fallen to the Kaaba, the door was plated. Historical reports say this marked the first time gold adorned the Kaaba. The duty to serve water from ZamZam was entrusted to Abdul Muttalib, and he began to provide for the pilgrims who arrived in sacred procession. Yet the struggle around the digging left its mark upon him. The day he faced the defiance of the Quraysh with only one son at his side weighed on his mind. In the silence of devotion before the Kaaba, he made a vow. If Almighty God would grant him 10 sons who would grow to stand beside him in strength, he would offer one of them in sacrifice to his Lord. Time moved. Children were born in his home until they numbered 10. Among them was Abdullah, the youngest, known for beauty and a light upon his face. When the sons reached their strength, Abdul Muttalib gathered them and spoke of his vow. They submitted to the promise, ready to accept what was decreed. Names were written, lots were cast. The arrow emerged for Abdullah. A tremor passed through hearts. Abdul Muttalib took his beloved son by the hand and set out toward the place of sacrifice, as their forefather Ismail had once been led. The people of Mecca were shaken. Members of the clan of Banu Maksum, kin through Abdullah's mother, rushed to intervene. They pleaded with him not to begin a practice that others might echo, draining the very youth of the city. Abdul Muttalib faced a terrible choice. The vow to his Lord, the life of his son, the counsel of the community. He sought a path that held faith and wisdom together. They directed him to a woman known for judgment in the region of Medina, or Khaybar. He traveled and laid the matter before her. She asked for the blood money customarily paid for a life in their society. He answered, 10 camels. Her counsel was clear. Place Abdullah on one side and 10 camels on the other. Cast lots between them. If the arrow names Abdullah, add 10 more camels and cast again. Continue until the lots fall upon the camels. When they do, sacrifice the camels and know that God has accepted from you. He returned to Mecca and stood before the house in prayer. Then the lots began. 10 camels against Abdullah. The arrow named Abdullah. 20 camels against Abdullah. Again Abdullah. The number rose, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Each time the arrow called the name of the sun. The tension deepened like the desert night. At 100 camels, the lot fell upon the animals. Relief spread through the crowd. Even then, Abdul Muttalib sought certainty. He cast lots 3 more times, each time 100 camels. Content with the sign, he sacrificed the camels between Safa and Marwa and ordered that all be fed. No needy hand was turned away. Abdullah lived. From the house of Abdullah would come the messenger of God, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. In remembrance of both Ismail and Abdullah, the Prophet would later speak of himself as the son of the two offered in sacrifice, a testament to a lineage marked by submission and deliverance. So the circle closes. A well hidden by defiance becomes a mercy uncovered through obedience. A treasure placed in secrecy returns to adorn the house. Water lost to the sands becomes a stream serving pilgrims through the ages. The careful accounts of scholars preserve the steps, the Jurhum concealment, the four dreams, the signs at the earth, the touch of metal in the ground, the fair lots that protected peace, the vow and the ransom that spared a life and honored a promise. Today, the well of ZamZam still flows in Mecca. Its water remains abundant. Its blessing endures. Millions come, as Abdul Muttalib was told in his dream, to be given drink. They draw cups from a source once concealed beneath stone and sand, beneath golden deer and ancient swords, beneath the hush of centuries. And in every drop, the story remains. Mercy concealed, mercy revealed.